I personally feel like we're at a weird time where I've got a friend that is the most incredible drummer who's being forced to have a studio because that's what you do now, like to have a drum room. And he doesn't have 1 ounce of brain power to work Pro Tools, but he has to, it's like you got to engineer, you got to play drums. And that's like the thing that we're in, is everybody has to be a guitar player, engineer, producer, barista, photographer, the whole deal. Mine was not realizing that and the necessity of it. It was just that continual learning. And mine was like playing guitar till it wasn't what was fascinating to me at that point, and then engineering for a long time, and then production, and then writing. And now I'm kind of at a phase where it's like, all right, I want to get better at all of these all the time. But for me, it definitely was focusing on one thing until you could focus on something else and still do that, if that makes sense. Like, because the whole time I was engineering, because I had a place kind of like this where no one would hire me to produce yet, but they would come track, at my place. I would engineer and play guitar all the time, and I didn't have to really... I would focus on the guitar, but I was able to do it in addition to the engineering, which is what I was freaked out about. And then, production after that. But I wish we could go back to a time where you could just be a drummer and that's all you cared about and that's what you lived for. And I did a record not too long ago with a drummer that he played on Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Who's that? Sly on the...
Temptations.
Yeah, no. Anyway, when he was like 16, old school drummer. He's in his 60s now, and he's never cared about anything but drums and had a pretty amazing career. And he was on a record that I was producing, and in between takes, even if it was just on his leg, he would just stay in the groove. Mm-hmm. We'd be having conversations and, making jokes or whatever. And you could just tell he was just like, my job is to keep this groove alive. And when we go in to do the next take, it was like he was right there. And you couldn't get that guy to even power up a laptop if you put a gun to his head, And there's something about that I wish we still had, but it's just we live in a different time period now, So I would just pick one. I don't know, man. That's a tough question. If it were me and I had to start all over now, I would just do what I'm passionate about and convince people to pay me to do it, because that's what I've done my whole career. So